Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My hormones make me a nutcase.
Welcome, welcome.
Lovely to have you here. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about, we're going to actually go over some perimenopause, menopausal symptoms, and we thought that we'd do an episode on each one, just because we can go into quite a bit of depth, on each symptom. So we're going to start off today with brain fog.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know this isn't brain fog related, but last week you said you were going to introduce us both. And I don't know why I remember you saying that. You're like, I will remember this. And then, yeah.
You don't know who we are. My name is Emma, and this is Aimee, and we are both personal trainers and coaches, online coaches. But yeah, no, I totally forgot that. So it is kind of linked to brain fog, to be fair. But yeah.
There we go. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I know this is like a perimenopausal thing, but this is also a woman thing and a hormone thing because we might not get it on the same level, but I bloody get brain fog to some degree. Like not being able to remember like my words. Like if you listen to this podcast regularly, how many times do we go, what was I saying? Why am I saying this? How come? Like, and sometimes it's way worse than others. Like last week, after we did the podcast, the next like 3 or 4 days, Alicia said to me, what is wrong with you? Like I didn't know my knee from my hand. And I hate that. It's horrible.
It is. And I think that's the thing. Like, I'm not taking anything away from being perimenopausal or menopausal at all. And I haven't been through it, so I can't, 100% relate to it. But I think just generally as women, we have it hard because of our hormones. And then we hit the perimenopause and the menopause and we have it even harder. And it's like, just give us a break.
I'm not sure that break ever comes because once you hit the perimenopause and the menopause, you're always in the menopause. Like,
Yeah.
and prior to that, your hormones are up and down every month. Like, I'm not sure when this time of having a break actually exists. Maybe the 1 week where you feel really good. Maybe that's like life going, here, have a break, feel great, woohoo, and then go, nah, see you later. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's just like 1 week you get every month. And then maybe when your symptoms start to ease and stuff, when you get into, it's very different for everyone, isn't it? But like in your 60s maybe. But and if you suppose you look after yourself, then you're probably still gonna be feeling okay, but you're still gonna be a little bit older and a little bit more are you gonna be a little bit tired? I don't know. Depends how you look after yourself and how your body's reacting to things, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So whether you call that
Absolutely.
a break or not, I don't know.
I know. I don't think it's a break. I don't think it's ever a break. I just think sometimes it's like, well, sometimes it's okay, and then other times absolutely not. But yeah, I'm not sure. No, I don't think there's a break. Maybe when you're dead. Cool. Fantastic. However, I wouldn't choose not to be a woman, right? Would you? I don't know. I like being a woman to some degree.
Yeah, I do
I
as
don't know
well.
what it's like to be a man.
No, no. Maybe if we were a man for a month, we would change our minds.
Maybe actually, because like, yeah, do you get a more chilled life?
Well, they do say in relationships, we're going really off track here, but they do say in relationships that if you're in like a man and woman relationship, that the men are generally happier than the women. Like it's actually a positive thing for the man to be in a relationship, whereas like for the women, it's not so much.
What's that? Because the woman does everything. No, that's me being like generalizing here. Not
Yeah,
every man doesn't do everything, anything, But like, is that why? Because like they just kind of let the woman crack on and they just go, all right, I'll do it.
yeah, I reckon so. I reckon so. Yeah, like I was thinking about Sam the other day, and he does do some things, but like he gets home from work and like his dinner's cooked for him. Like, it must be nice, like just leaving the house in the morning, getting back, your washing's done, your washing's hung up, your dinner's on the table, like the food shops. Do you know what I mean? Like it must be like really nice to have all of that done.
Mm,
That'd be
yeah.
just
But then would you like that? Because would you be like, no, it's fine, I'll do it because I like you want to know what you're eating, you want to know like, what you're doing, maybe the washing and stuff, but with the cooking side of it, like
I'm a bit of a control freak, so yeah.
because I know what it was like when we were in Spain. I was like, I'll cook. And you're like, no, it's fine, I'll cook. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, woman, let me do something too. And then in the end, I was like, do you know what? By the end of the month, I was like, do you know what? We'll just let her cook. It's fine. Maybe Sam feels like
Quite a
that.
bit, to be fair.
Huh?
You did cook quite a bit, to be fair.
I did when I told you to go get in the shower. It's fine. I can look after this.
Oh, yeah, my controlling tendencies. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, we want to run through. So, why brain fog? I really struggle with this. I always say frog. Um, is a thing, especially for women, and in terms of like hormonal. Like, obviously, there's a lot of other factors that can come into why we might experience it, and it might not be hormonal because things like stress and that can play a massive part, and like being ill and all of that too. But just going through how estrogen will affect the brain. So without being like too technical, how can we make this so it's not too technical? Basically, you've got neurotransmitters in your brain, and obviously there's different hormones, let's go with, that can affect how you feel. So you've got some hormones that are crucial for like learning and memory, and you've got other things like what most people would know, like dopamine and serotonin, happy hormones, and hormones that help with like motivation, focus, and mood. So depending on the amount of estrogen you've got, depends on how you feel. Like, so we know this, right? So when we're in like a good part of our cycle. Like we've got happy hormones, we feel great, like all of those are functioning. When you feel good, you probably eat better, like, and all of that will contribute, and obviously go out and do exercise and stuff, and that will contribute to how you feel mentally as well.
yeah,
When you haven't got that, when you're in an estrogen drop, all of those things and tiredness and like stress and all of that, all your hormones will drop. You won't feel any of that. So it's probably why, like a lot of the time when people are tired, they'll also reach for things like chocolate and that because you're trying to find that hit of dopamine that you haven't got high levels of when you're in a certain phase of your cycle.
yeah, makes sense. So basically, yeah, your estrogen drops and it affects your mood, it affects your motivation, your learning, your memory, etc. To put it in
Yeah,
kind of easy terms to understand.
basically, yeah. 100%. Yeah, when that drops, everything else goes, see ya.
Yeah.
Gonna
And it's
make you miserable.
a gradual decline, is it? It's like it can just kind of drop,
Yeah.
um, which is not nice, really, is it? It'd be nice if it was just like a gradual thing. Yeah, just a little bit less today. Okay, that's right. I'll get used to that. But when it's kind of like a roller coaster, not so fun.
No, and that's why I think a lot of the time we struggle, like, and some more than others, depending how big that drop is. Because some people might have it so it's like a little bit and like slowly declines, and it might not be that big a drop, but other people might be like they might as well have just jumped off a cliff. Don't jump off a cliff, but like their hormones have, that it's that much of a drop that it will make you feel like shit.
Yeah,
And then to make yourself feel better, you'll try and reach for all these other things that are probably not the answer to
no,
making you feel better.
no, exactly. Yeah, and I think we kind of said about like your motivation, your focus, your mood, but it can also affect like you can become more forgetful, struggle to find the words, which mean you don't really do a lot. Um, Sometimes when I listen to myself, I'm like, do I actually speak English? Do I actually know what I'm talking about? Like, because I'm like, words are not coming out. Anyway, um,
Oh man. I think that when we were having this conversation on a podcast, I'm like, did I answer a question or did I just start chatting about some other shit that I was thinking about and not actually answer the question? There's probably so many times I've done that as well.
I know. It can affect your mood, like you having mood swings. Irritability, I think, is a big one. That's a lot of ladies that come
Mm.
to me. Just get more irritated. And I don't, if we talk about the cycle as well, I definitely find that like the week before.
Yeah, me too. My God, sometimes my dad will come in and he'll just say something and I'll be like, "Ugh," and I'm like, oh, don't be like that. That's just your hormones. Stop it.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
It's
you've
not
got
his fault that he's happy and singing and all this. And I'm like, fuck you on the inside.
yeah, that's definitely one to watch for. Not blaming it on someone else.
But it's so easy done, right? I have so many clients that will come in and they're like, oh God, like my husband's just like breathed and I'm annoyed, or they'll just say one thing and I just find it so irritating. And they're like, oh, but I know I'm doing it and I'm trying not to be a bitch, but I also need to just maybe take myself out of the house and come back and they're still annoying, but it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to bed early because actually I don't want to scream and shout at you. Like, but also you couldn't possibly do one thing right, even if it was like the most loveliest thing on this like planet. Whereas like a week later they'll be like, oh yeah, like whatever it was they did last week, it's absolutely fine this week.
Yeah, definitely. All the joys.
And I suppose like fit like having like decreased blood flow and like glucose use like can like mentally like drain you when you haven't got enough of like enough blood flow to like your brain, things like that can make you feel like shit. Same thing with keeping hydrated. Loads of people are like, oh, I just feel like tired and horrible. I'm like, how much have you drunk? They're like, oh, I haven't really drunk anything. I'm like, that's probably why you're not getting everything flowing. Like, you're not keeping the brain alive. Like if you don't water a flower, like that's gonna die. The brain's the same. It needs water to function, and it needs good hormones to function properly too.
Yeah, good hormones, good water. Definitely. So your brain depends heavily on glucose, and estrogen normally enhances glucose transport. And mitochondrial, blah, blah, blah.
All the clever words.
I'm not going to try and say that again.
No.
Efficiency in neurons. So basically, when the estrogen drops, neurons become less efficient using glucose. The brain begins shifting to ketone metabolism. And then during this adaptation, energy supply might not meet cognitive demand, which then means what we've been talking about: brain fog, fatigue, slower thinking, etc.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't just affect your thinking and stuff, does it? Like, I think just general as well, like having things like brain fog and that can also, it might slow your thinking, but it might also slow you like physically, not just mentally too. Like, so sometimes if you're experiencing this, you might find that actually I wasn't so quick on the ball because then it's all reactions, isn't it? Quick on the ball. I said that because we play football, but like just in general, like if you're mentally feeling slower, you might not be quick enough to then physically do something quicker either. So it's not just affecting your mind, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's a mind and body thing because they're all interlinked at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And again, that's not nice for anyone, especially if you're in like a high demanding job. Like, how many people are like you've got a big group of like perimenopausal women. I don't know what they chat about, but like, have you got many that are in like high performing jobs? Because I know like a lot of like women like maybe in the police or things like that. There's been several like podcasts that I've listened to and they've had to quit their jobs because they can't deal with the demand of like their job because one, they're forgetting stuff and they don't have the support of like, okay, this is hormonal, like this is what we need to work with or work on. I think they're getting better because they have menopausal chats, so people go in and talk to them about it and make them more aware. But yeah, have you got many high flying like business women maybe or whatever in big careers that struggle?
Yeah, I mean, I do have ladies that are in good jobs for sure, and I know it definitely does affect them. But I think the thing that I find most often is that they just try and get on with it. Like they try and hide it. They try and, because they don't want anyone else to know. Because it's almost, I think as well for like generations above us, I think like you said, it is getting better, but it still is that little bit of taboo, isn't it? Um,
Yeah. And I suppose when you forget stuff, you feel stupid when you forget stuff, right? So they don't want to then feel like, oh, I'm so good at my job, and now all of a sudden I keep forgetting stuff, and now like I feel like I'm shit at my job.
yeah, exactly. But I think so. In a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to a police kind of event, which is for the menopause. So they're going to have like
Weird.
talk speakers, and they're having stalls. So I'm going to have a stall there. But I just think the whole concept of that is really cool because they're just building awareness around it, especially for like you say, like being in the police force. You've got to be switched on for that, haven't you? Your brain's got to be functioning. But then it's really hard because if you can't, it's not your fault as well, is it? If you can't be, if your hormones are changing, you can't control that. Yes, you can control certain aspects to doing as much as you can to feel your best, but ultimately you can't completely control it. So if actually more big companies and stuff are aware of what's going on, it's like people can just be a little bit more empathetic, I think, towards women.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could have picked any profession then. That's really weird that you're now going to like a police event. Oh, weird, strange. However, yeah, like I think it definitely in these like bigger departments and stuff. And I wonder how much like nurses and doctors and stuff, get this support because again, they're dealing with the public, they're dealing with medication and things like that. Like how many times like the nurses or whatever do they stop? No, wait, do they are they worried about giving like medication and injections and things that they're worried? Do they know how much they're giving? Do you know what I mean? Like if like because sometimes it can be that bad, like you can't remember what you've done with your keys or you've put them in the fridge. Well, you don't remember doing that. Do you know what I mean? That's a simple thing. But what happens when it comes to people's lives?
Yeah, I suppose maybe in those jobs, without speaking to them, I don't know, but in those jobs, you have systems more so in place. Like you haven't got a system at home, do you? Where it's like, well, maybe this should be something you do, but write down where you put your keys or have like a little reminder. Keys are on this side, whatever. But I suppose you do have systems, don't you, in place where you're like, this is how much that person has got of medication, or do you know what I mean? So it like you might forget the little things, but the big things are going to be recorded. But I know what you're saying, but there probably are systems in place, but maybe
Oh well, I
not.
hope so. I hope so. But
Might
like I was just thinking,
well.
like, what if there isn't? Like, then what? Like, yeah, like but yeah, it's definitely good that it's coming in more for like bigger what do we call it? Services. I like thinking more of it because women shouldn't have to like quit their job just because they've got brain fog and they can't remember something because that doesn't mean you're silly. It doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. It just means at that moment in time you have forgotten something. Like there is no reason why you are incapable and you have to retire early or you have to quit your job. Like that it's just yeah, a pressure that's not needed, is it, when it can be like talked about and figured out.
It's a really tricky one though, because I suppose there are some industries which are maybe more male orientated, and there are a lot of assholes out there. I'm not saying there are a lot of people that are not empathetic, who don't want to understand, who probably a little bit narcissistic, all of that kind of stuff. So if you are a woman of that, going through that, it might not be feasible for you to bring it up to your
Mm.
boss. It should be a thing which you can do, but there's probably a lot of industries and a lot of companies and stuff where unfortunately people can't.
No. Yeah, I suppose you've got to go further out then after that, don't you? Rather than going to someone in your company, you'd have to reach out potentially for help from maybe a doctor or something. definitely get help from a doctor if you find like it's a thing that's happening quite a lot. Or if you don't know, like you're in the perimenopause and you think that you might be going through that, it's always just good to track your hormones just in general, no matter whether you're like perimenopausal or menopausal or perimenopausal pausal. My God, like it's good to know what your body's natural hormone response is to stuff. So
Yeah,
then when you do start having like changes, it's better to get on it earlier than to be waiting however long down the line. However, I know that's not always going to happen. Like some people will only realize like 10 years later or whatever it is. But if you start tracking your cycle now, then you've got more of a chance of realizing these small changes when they're occurring. Like I always say it to my clients, like someone came in earlier and she was like, God, my hip is really hurting, this is hurting. And I was like, right, are you due on? She was like, oh, I actually came on at the weekend. I was like, maybe it hurts more because of that. I said, but we're now going to have to keep an eye on this and see if this happens and it's a pattern every month. Or is it an endometriosis flare up? Or is it this? Like there's different things it can be, but we need to track it to find out which one it is. And I think once you're on top of stuff like that, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier to identify things
yeah,
and to
definitely.
potentially reach out for help.
Absolutely. And I think it's probably just best to just start tracking things. Like if you, I mean, like you say, you can be young when you start the perimenopause, but if you start to notice some changes, whatever age you are, and you don't think it's not normal for you, start tracking it. So then if you do feel like you want to go to the doctors or whatever, then you've got stuff to go to them with. It's like for
Hmm.
this last 6 months, I have noticed X, Y, and Z changes. This happens this often. I get these symptoms. That was not normal before. Like, because then otherwise you're probably going to go there and they're going to go, why don't you just try this or just check this? Where if you go to them with like loads of evidence, then they're
Hmm.
probably going to be able to help you more so. Um, yeah,
Absolutely. And always know that your cycle, I know we're like diverting a little bit, but like your cycle could be different each month. So you might get different symptoms each month. Like sometimes I get clients come in with joint pain. The next month they don't get joint pain. They have a really heavy period. The next month they'll have a really light period. And then they'll be like, oh my God, like my mental like well-being has been pony. Like, and it will just switch and change. But if you're like you say, logging it all, writing it all down, like you've got that evidence, you can just go in and go, boom, there it is. Because they can't, that no one can tell you you're wrong.
no, no, exactly.
You might have to fight a battle, but no one can tell you you're wrong because you know your body.
Exactly. Shall we?
So, oh, you go.
Should we go? I was going to say, shall we move on to talk about sleep and circadian rhythm?
Yes, we can definitely go on to that. Um, yeah, you crack on. Go, go.
I think one of the biggest things that I hear speaking to most women and clients is, sorry, the dog's whining, is that going to sleep is not a problem. Sometimes I'm just generalizing here, but going to sleep is not a problem. But it's that 3 a.m., 2 a.m. wake up and that struggle to get back to sleep.
Yeah,
Um,
I hear that.
yeah, it's such a big thing. And again, that is down to your hormones changing. You might always also get like hot flashes, night sweats as well, which can wake you up in the night. Um, your REM and deep sleep cycles are shortened. Yeah, and then that's going to affect your brain fog too, because then you're going to be more tired because of all the lack of sleep and the broken sleep. But it's just that cycle.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're waking up at like 2 or 3 a.m., a lot of the time, because you suddenly find yourself awake, you'll then start thinking about the day that's coming, as like most women do. And
Mm.
then you're even more awake, so then your cortisol levels shoot up, so then you're like, oh God, it's like you're ready for the day, and yet you've still got another 4 hours until you actually get up potentially. um to actually do your day. So then you've been awake for like an hour and a half or whatever because your brain is suddenly going, oh God, but I need to do that and I need to do that and I need to do this. So then it takes you even longer to get to sleep because you need to get that cortisol level back down so you can fall asleep again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, like for myself, to be fair, mine's more so like if I'm really stressed, I get that like 2, 3 a.m. wake up. And then I try to get back to sleep. And then, like you say, my brain's just like, oh, we could do this, or why not try that? Or, oh, this is coming up, or oh, I must stress about that now. And it's like, for God's sake, turn off.
Shut the fuck up. Let me go to sleep. Absolutely. But for things like that, potentially, maybe look at things like magnesium if it's happening all the time. I'm not saying take the supplement, but it is a good supplement for stuff like waking up and sleep. So maybe look into having something like a magnesium. See if by your bed you can have some like pillow spray, something like lavender or whatever that will help calm you back down. Can you do some deep breathing? Can you just sit and just, yeah, try and focus on your breath rather than what you've got to do, like, or do you just need to write down all of that stuff that's come into your brain at that time just to see if you can get it out of your brain and then you can fall back to sleep?
Yeah. I think also trying not to fight it too much as well, which I know is so much easier said than done, but it's once you start, I know for myself, like once you start to not get back to sleep, then you start getting really annoyed about it. And then you just end up like, oh my God, I've only got this amount of sleep left. I'm gonna be so tired today. And then you kind of have all of those thoughts. Whereas actually, like you say, maybe writing things down, doing a bit of meditation, doing a bit of breathing, maybe just laying there and trying to think about something nice, just distracting your brain rather than getting frustrated with it. Because yeah, getting frustrated with it is not going to solve it at the end of the day. Like it's probably better to maybe get up or just
Hmm.
do something and just accept that it's happened rather than, if you can't get back to sleep, rather than being really pissed off yourself.
Yeah, and they say that, don't they? They say like if it happens all the time, you then, I'm not saying like the wake up, but if you're getting stressed about trying to go back to sleep, get up and go and do something because all you're going to do is every time you get into bed is related to anxiety and not being able to sleep. So then you won't be able to sleep. Whereas if you get up, go and do something and come back, the anxiety is not about being in bed or being asleep. That removes it from it. So yeah, sometimes you are better off getting up and doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just laying there, like you say, getting annoyed because you've only got 2 hours left. Also, do not look at the time. Like, I mean, I say this is hypocritical. However, apparently this is a really good thing to
Yeah,
not do is to
definitely.
look at the time because as soon as you look at the time, again, you're going to start stressing that you've only got a few hours. If you're in that mindset, if you're like me, I'm like, oh, I've got 2 hours left. Cool, let's go back to sleep. But but if you're the other way around, don't look at the time because it does not help you.
Which are all really difficult things to remember when you're really tired and you're pissed off and you've woken up and then you're like start stressing. Yeah, but things to practice over time.
Absolutely. I've also got another client. She does it. And she's like, I listen to you. You're like in my brain now because she's like, oh, I just wake up at this time and then I scroll on my phone. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, that is like one of the worst things you can do. I know you're trying to distract yourself from that, but that blue light, that constant, that doom scrolling, that's going to keep your brain awake. So, if anything, just listen to me now. Do not pick up your phone and look at your phone at 3 a.m. Keep
Yeah,
that away.
definitely. I know we've done like whole podcasts and things on sleep routines, but honestly, again, there's no magic pill for sleep, and it is just focusing on having a good sleep, having good sleep hygiene. Making sure it's dark, making sure it's cool. Try not to look at screens too close to your face. Don't look at your phone like half an hour before bed. Focus on when you're having your last bit of caffeine. And it sounds like so trivial, but honestly, all of those things can have such a big impact on your sleep and when you're waking up in the night and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're thinking about where to start, just start with a couple of those things, just having some time to de-stress before going to bed. Don't look at your phone like half an hour before. Yeah, just make sure it's cool and dark. Open a window a little bit if you can. Little things like that can just be really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. As much as you can, just try. I mean, you've got when you wake up at that time, like you've got other things like going on hormonally, like things like progesterone. So that can also be a reason why you potentially aren't sleeping well, because when progesterone is at a good level, like you feel more calm, like you can sleep better as well. So it could again just be wherever you are in your cycle, this could be affecting it, which low or erratic like progesterone can also then affect oh my God, affect poor sleep, restlessness, like disruption to focus and things like that as well. And like we said, if your sleep's disrupted, this is like sleep is literally like the holy grail of how you're probably going to get all of your results. Because like we said before, if you don't sleep properly, the rest of your day is then screwed. Like the better sleep quality you get, the better sleep you get, like the more you're going to be able to function better, and you'll feel better and you'll want to do better. And now like, and that's so hard, like it's one of the hardest things to do, like because you've got to get sleep, but if it's disrupted, if your hormones are all over the place, you're going to struggle. But if you can do those things that Em said, at least you'll be on your way to hopefully helping yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, when you're tired, you ain't gonna remember shit all. I don't remember anything when I'm tired. Like you could have told me something yesterday and I'm like, what did you say to me? Like,
Yeah,
tell me again. How many times do you say to someone, can you remind me that? Can you remind me that? I need to write that down because I will not remember, like just in general. So if you're getting a big like dip in like estrogen or progesterone or whatever, like that's gonna make it 10 times worse.
yeah, 100%. It really is. Or excuse me, just getting licked to death by a dog.
Oh, it's a good job you said by a dog because it's a weird thing to say on a podcast. Yeah, he's absolutely like jumped on top of us. Um, so yeah, brain fog is shit, basically. And
Summarise.
hormones hormones do not help at all. Like you're gonna get if you've got your estrogen declining, you've got low dopamine, low serotonin, like fluctuations of that can cause like instability within your perimenopause, and then you end up with like forgetfulness and low focus. If your glucose is all over the place, again, like this normally promotes um, brain energy use. However, if you're in a deficit of that because of where you are in your cycle, that means you're going to have more fatigue or mental haze. If you have got low progesterone, normally obviously that stabilizes your mood and stuff. Again, without it, causes more things like insomnia, anxiety, and well, you get more distracted, right? Because no one can concentrate when they haven't had any sleep. Um, if you're looking at stress responses, like your estrogen normally buffers the cortisol. Again, if cortisol's then dysregulated, then you're going to have poor memory because you're going to be under stress. And again, if you've ever been through a stressful situation, which I'm sure 100% of us have been, like stress causes a poor memory. And then sleep, like estrogen will help like regulate your melatonin, your temperature and things like that. Without it, it causes insomnia, hot flushes, and then it can result in like cognitive fatigue as well. So there's so many things that are involved in brain fog. But if we look at the basics and like some of like eating the more nutritious foods as much as you can, looking at your sleep, looking at your movement in the day, maybe not overdoing it. Hopefully these things can help, and obviously keep hydrated. These can maybe make it so it's not as bad.
Yeah. Well, you think if you're eating poorly, you're drinking loads of caffeine throughout the afternoon, evening, if you're drinking loads of alcohol, if you're not moving, all these things are going to make symptoms worse. So there is no magic pill, as I say 100 times, but focusing on all the basics, like you say, focusing on eating a healthy, balanced diet, getting out and moving once a day at least, like having a good sleep hygiene, not drinking too much alcohol, like all of those things together aren't going to solve the problem, but it will help. It will help you to not feel quite as bad and not be quite so forgetful and all those kind of things, because it's going to help your body to function better. Like if you put diesel into a petrol car, your car is not going to start. It's going to make a horrible noise and not going to start. So if you're putting loads of ultra processed foods, not drinking enough water, not moving your body like it's meant to do, you're basically putting diesel in a petrol car, and your body is going to be like not functioning. And that's going to happen to someone who's not perimenopausal. So imagine them throwing all the crazy hormone stuff in it. It's then going to be even worse. So yes, it's important generally for everyone day-to-day life to focus on those things, but it's especially important when you're going through that, because that is going to help and support you. Like I say, support you, not fix it, but support you to feel better going through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I know some supplements help, and we're not like supplement queens. That's not our job. But I think a lot of the time people are so reliant on supplements, like, and they think again, a supplement is going to be a magic pill. A supplement, again, is not going to be a magic pill. It is there to go alongside the basics of the food, the walking, and all of that. Like, so you can look at things like creatine is good for cognitive function. You can look at, a lot of people take like lion's mane because that's supposed to be really good for cognitive function. Things like that. And again, like I said, magnesium for sleep. And maybe you're deficient in something that's making your brain fog worse, like if you're low in iron and things, that can really affect how you are. And just being deficient in anything like will make you feel like crap anyway. So go and get a blood test done. If you feel really, really bad, go and get that checked out. But also, don't, like, you could take these supplements and these supplements might help, but again, they're not going to be a magic pill. If you're not doing the basics, they're not going to do as much as potentially what they could. And I'm not saying this is take it, don't take it. Like, you research it, you dive deeper into it and find out what's going to work for you, but don't think just taking a supplement is going to cure you.
In my personal opinion, you're better off spending money on whole foods that are going to fuel you well, and try and get a varied diet so that you're getting in all the nutrients, all the different kind of nutrients, then going and spending out probably a lot more money on crazy supplements that, yes, say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. When actually, like, are they going to do that? When actually you could just go and buy some more whole foods and fuel your body better. But of course, if you feel like there's something else going on, go get checked. And then if your doctor says you're deficient in something, then they might prescribe you with a supplement to help with that. Or it might be that you need to include more of some kind of foods in your diet or something like that. So yeah, we're not doctors. We can't, prescribe you or say like that. But we're just saying that you probably don't need all those supplements if you're covering your basis with your nutrition.
Yeah. And it's like you just said, like, it's mental, like how many people spend so much on supplements, are probably in like a McDonald's or like some sort of take, like so many takeaways a week, or chucking in something that's ultra processed, or eating chocolate all day. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing stuff like that, and thinking a supplement and spending all that money on supplements is going to help, and it really doesn't.
They think it's the quick, easy fix, don't they? That's the thing. We're all about quick, easy fixes, and we feel like if we have a supplement, it's going to counteract all the stuff.
Yeah, having to move, having to cook, having to eat nice, good foods, like. But actually, what would be a quick fix or a quicker fix if you got up your ass and just started walking, or you just decided, actually, I'm going to start cooking better? Like, those things, you could have a quicker fix if you decided to get up and do these things rather than expecting something else to do it for you.
Definitely. if you take a vitamin that says that you're going to potentially have loads of energy, but yet you're eating ultra processed, not very healthy foods, you're not moving off your bum, your sleep is terrible, that having that one tablet is absolutely not going to fix that problem.
No,
It
you've got
might
other
do for a few
problems.
days because psychologically it's a placebo effect, but then probably after the few, like maybe a week or so, you're probably going to feel just as shitty as you did before.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. So yeah, look at everything as a whole.
Yeah,
Because there are ways of making symptoms feel better. It's just making sure you're doing the basics first and then working off that. Once you've nailed the basics, then see what you can do or what you need to do. And we get it. It's hard. We understand. We go through these things and we will be going through the perimenopause, so we know what is coming. But it's also good to educate yourself on these things too.
yeah, 100%. I think to be preventative, um, like even though it's a little bit daunting to know that all this stuff's going to happen because we work alongside people that go through it, at least we know what's coming, and at least we know what the basics are to do. And like we say, it's not going to fix it, but it's probably going to help us get through it that little bit easier. So I think even if you're not in the perimenopausal stage yet, like just fixing or trying to help your current situation is always going to be beneficial, just generally, but for them as well.
I agree. Absolutely. I think that's a good place to end it.
I think so. I think so. Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. We will pop down in the, can't think, got brain fog now, my brain switched off.
You've spoken so much. She can't remember what's going on next.
Box thing below. We'll have some links to our socials and our groups and all of that kind of stuff. If you want to reach out to us, message us. You have a number, or message us on socials, or you can email us, contact@empoweryouFitness@gmail.com. If you have any thoughts on today's podcast, please do let us know. And thank you again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Absolutely. Adios.
Au revoir.